Welcome. This is Uncommon Sense, a podcast presented by the Heshi CPA Knowledge Center. The center is an initiative of the CPA Education Foundation, the charitable arm of the Chartered Professional Accountant profession in Alberta. Our episodes feature conversations with Alberta CPAs sharing their insights on a wide range of timely topics. Alberta CPAs work in every part of the economy and volunteer their time and expertise in virtually every community in Alberta. With each episode, we bring you voices and perspectives that reflect the diverse knowledge and contributions that CPAs bring to our province. Hello and welcome to this episode of Uncommon Sense. I'm Jessica DeGroot, manager of the CPA Education Foundation. At CPA Alberta, the regulatory body for the Chartered Professional Accountant profession in Alberta, a mentorship program has been established that is making a positive difference in the lives of many Alberta CPAs. CPA Alberta's Career Development Mentorship Program is designed to build bridges between established CPAs and those who are navigating their professional pathways, whether they're early in their careers, exploring new roles, or seeking guidance on how to grow as leaders. On a recent episode of Uncommon Sense, we spoke with Alberta CPA Deepa Mittimani about her experience as a mentor in the program. Today, I'm joined by two Alberta CPAs, one who is a mentor in the program and one who is that mentor's mentee. Sandy Lyons is a Lethbridge-based semi-retired CPA-CA, licensed insolvency trustee, and chartered insolvency restructuring professional. Sandy has 40 years of experience in public practice with particular expertise in the area of insolvency. He assists consumers and small businesses with financial and cash flow management, risk management, and restructuring solutions. Sandy currently contracts his services to various businesses and insolvency firms and has experience supporting a number of non-for-profit and community-based organizations with board and committee involvement, fundraising initiatives, and mentorship programs. Sandy is also a volunteer mentor with CPA Alberta's mentorship program. Currently, he is a mentor to Rod Gatti, CPA CGA, and guess what? Rod is also here today with us. Rod was an engineer in Brazil and immigrated to Canada in 2003. He decided to change careers and studied accounting at Mount Royal. He graduated with an applied degree in business administration accounting and has been a CPA CGA since 2016. His career experience as a CPA has been in the tax field with personal and corporate tax. Rod and Sandy are here today to talk about their perspectives on mentorship and what their mentor-mentee relationship has meant to them. So welcome to you both.
Hello, and thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So as regular listeners know, we do kick off each one of our episodes by asking our guests if they have a piece of uncommon sense to pass on to us. And this could be a piece of advice or maybe some insight that they received at some point in their lives. So today we're lucky enough, we've got two guests to put that challenge to. So maybe Sandy, let's start with you. Do you have a piece of wisdom or life learning to share with our listeners?
I think we do life the way we show up. And I like to think that we give and gain from that experience. And so I guess I would term it giver's gain. If you give of yourself, of your time, your energy, your money, or just a friendly ear at times, it can make a world of difference.
Yeah, I love that. How about you, Rod?
Yes, I would say that sometimes we are our worst critics. And I think everybody suffers from imposter syndrome at some level. So I think it's important for us to calm down and remind ourselves of our achievements and recognize our failures and our weaknesses. But also understand that we have our strengths and we should remind ourselves that our strengths. And sometimes we only remind ourselves that we are not very expert, but it's very important to to also acknowledge what we know what to do.
Yeah. Thank you both for sharing those insights. Before we talk about your experiences with the CPA Alberta Mentorship Program, can you each maybe just provide a short overview of your career to date? Rod, maybe we'll have you go first here.
Yeah, so I've been working with tax since I graduated, and then doing personal income taxes and corporate income taxes. And today I do review of tax files, and I really enjoy my job. Like I've been doing this for a while, so it's rewarding in some level, yeah.
Can I ask, because I mentioned you were an engineer in Brazil, and then obviously you've made the career change to become an accountant. Any reasoning behind that in particular?
When I was an engineer, I was a site engineer, not a design engineer. So by saying this, I was working a lot with numbers, approving invoices, payments, negotiating contracts. So even though I was an engineer, it was I was doing a lot of things that like an accountant in Canada would do. And when I came to Canada, I was debating if I should stay on this field of my prior field of engineering or if I should transition. And I felt that I enjoyed the business part of construction a lot more than the design part. And for me, it was a natural transition to move from engineering to accounting. And yeah, I think I made the right choice.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Thanks for sharing that. How about you, Sandy? Can you give us a quick summary of your career?
Well, I guess I got involved in business with the family farm. I'm a farm boy from Alberta, so I haven't went afar like Rod has, changing countries. But I went to the University of Alberta and did a student co-op program with one of what was the Big Eight back then of the accounting firms. And that turned into a full-time position that saw me do my articles. But it was at a time when the Alberta economy was at a downturn. And that was my introduction into the world of insolvency. My first 12 years were spent in Edmonton working for one of the big four now, and in the corporate area, then moved to Calgary and eventually Lethbridge with another big four firm in Lethbridge and practiced in the small business consumer area. That big four firm divested of the practice as it did across Canada back in about 2010, and I became part of a small boutique firm for about the next 8 years, then returned back to public practice in a tier 2 firm, and did that for another 4 years until the end of COVID. And now I'm semi-retired and have time to still do some work, but at the same time share of my time in other philanthropic ventures.
Well, that's great. And as I mentioned in the introduction, Sandy, you've been serving as a mentor to Rod through the CPA Alberta's Career Development Mentorship Program. So Sandy, why did you decide to dedicate some of your time to being a mentor? Has that just been since you've been semi-retired?
I think when you are in the public practice sector, you tend to be a mentor all the way along. I remember some of the great mentors I had when I articled, especially those that built me up when I was struggling potentially with some of the course load back at that time, family decisions, etc. And I see it as an opportunity to give back. I'm involved with mentorship not only with CPA Alberta, but also a local chamber of commerce and the Futurepreneur program as well. So it's about, giving back and building community is how I look at it always.
And Rod, what led you to becoming a mentee, and what were you hoping to gain from the experience?
So I always believed that we should have a plan B in life. And my employer was going through some reorganizations activities, and there was a real possibility that I would be laid off or have some sort of career changes. And this didn't happen, so that was a happy ending so far. But I always believe that you need to be prepared. So I took a look at my career, and I took a look at how can I disaster-proof my career, if you will. How can I make sure that I can be employable if something happens? How can I move forward? And then I realized that I needed a mentor to protect my career, and that's the reason I was looking for a mentor. So more to see how can I make sure I can move forward.
Mm-hmm. So both of you, I find the interesting thing about your relationship is, Sandy, you have more of a traditional, I guess, accounting journey where, you studied it in university. It was kind of the first thing you did, and, articled with what was a big 8 at the time. And then Rod, you're a little bit different where you started in engineering and you're kind of more of a career changer and have, maybe discovered your passion for numbers and accounting a little bit later. So how did you two get connected in the program as a good fit together?
Okay, I can answer that. So again, as I was saying, when I was looking to see how can I protect my career, if you will, right? I was thinking what options within the accounting field would be like a good fit for me. And I reached out to CPA and I talked to Simone McCalling. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing her name right. Sorry, Simone. And basically I was looking for somebody actually with insolvency background. And then when I reached out to them, and then Simone said, yes, we do have this program. And by the way, I know someone that would fit really well on what you're looking for. So that was my side of the story.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's wonderful. And then, of course, Sandy, you mentioned that you live in Lethbridge, and Rod, you're in Calgary. So how do you two make the mentorship relationship work logistically? Is it just strictly virtual, or do you get to see each other in person every now and then?
Actually, this is our first chance to meet in person today.
Oh.
We have been doing virtual, but of course, with technology, virtual is WhatsApp for us, and email and text, and being able to just stay connected and organize times that meet our schedules, especially more so Rod. I have more time in my schedule, and we found that Wednesday evenings at 7 o'clock was the sweet spot every second week for a good period of time through this mentorship season from September to just wrapping up just now in March.
That's great. I mean, I'm happy that you got to meet in person today, so that's wonderful. Sandy, what sorts of topics and areas for discussion do you two cover during your mentorship sessions?
Well, I think, first of all, it was about get to know each other, get to understand our histories of origin, where there were overlaps, where there were places that maybe we didn't know much about what the other person was doing, understanding those backgrounds. And then for Rod, it was really about some soul searching about, was it time to look at a different career path, or could we solidify the process? And Rod had to commit to something. He's currently looking at doing in-depth tax, which he had not done before. And, we looked at the time commitment, especially because Rod still has younger children. And, that life-work balance is so important when you are raising your children. And also then where he was in his career path. And so we really started to look at what his goals were, long, short, medium term, and seeing if the insolvency field would be a fit. It still is, but I think that's his plan C now at this point.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Rod, from your perspective, how do your sessions with Sandy help you out in terms of your career development? Because it seems like you have kind of switched courses a little bit or changed gears since you've began the mentorship program with him.
Yeah. No, so I was all over the place when I started, and that's why I reached out for help with CPA. I mean, by all over the place, I was, okay, if something happens to my career, what is my action plan, right? And I wasn't really sure. Like I knew about insolvency, and that was a field that, in addition to tax, is a field that has attracted me a lot. And that's why I was asking for somebody, and I was very, very lucky to be connected with Sandy. But I think for me I was all over the place. And Sandy was the person that was able to help me take the fog out of my eyes, so to speak, right? So see like where my strengths are, where my weaknesses are, where are my experiences, and then help me charter several plans to move forward with my career.
And can you think of a specific moment or an incident where your mentorship experience was particularly helpful? Maybe you're just at work and you thought to yourself, oh, that's just what Sandy was talking about, and it's just became very obvious.
Well, Sandy really helped me in increasing my self-confidence. So there are several positions within my organization and in my field that I didn't feel ready to apply because, again, like I always thought that I wasn't like good enough and I needed more technical skills and more this and more that. And Sandy was the person that helped me figure out, okay, if you have an issue, you should address this issue, and then you prepare yourself for that particular opportunity. So I think that's what Sandy gave me, was the confidence, not just the confidence, but also a clear path to clear some weaknesses that I have, to boost my confidence, to look for other opportunities and within my field of work.
Mm-hmm. So another question for you, Sandy. What do you get from the experience of being a mentor?
I think it really helps enrich my life. I help connect. One of the things that Rod didn't mention is that I helped him connect with a couple of people who I knew that he didn't know, that maybe had a little bit of a different perspective, and he was able to gain some time with them and have some safe space type conversations because, the organization he's with, it's multifaceted, and both these individuals work in different sections of his organization, but they weren't in his direct leadership stream. So they were able to also provide some insight as to opportunities and what it would look like to maybe do a bit of shifting around and what it would look like. So I ended up being a networking connector for him a little bit. And so I was helped not only by mentoring him, but a couple of other friends who helped mentor as well. And I think that really helped Rod because he was struggling a bit and he needed just a safe space. And that's what we created, was a safe space for some real exploration of what his opportunities really did look like.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's really great. It sounds like definitely a beneficial partnership. And Rod, good for you for realizing also that you needed a little bit of support in those areas and then actually taking the steps to go out and find it, because I feel like that's something that a lot of people wouldn't do. They would maybe just sit in their struggle for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So another question that maybe both of you can answer here. Generally speaking, why would it be important for professionals to participate in a mentorship program, either as a mentor or a mentee, whether they're CPAs or pursuing other types of careers? Sandy, maybe we'll have you go first there.
I think that, when it comes right down to it, our profession is driven by people who see the future and see it in a manner that is hopefully forward-looking. And there is so much change today that it really is important that we reach out to each other and support each other. I had the privilege of working with large firms for most of my career. When you talk to people who are in smaller firms, like a lot of my mentorship roles have been with people that were individuals or in small firms, and it is really sometimes a struggle to find that support in those venues. And like I said, I really did get a lot out of my career with the big firms in terms of great mentorship. And by providing that now, it helps us build the community of the future in the CPA profession and in our business community in general.
Mm-hmm. Rod, do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, yes. So from a mentee point of view, why I appreciate a lot to have a mentor like Sandy is I see him as my inner voice, only wiser, I guess, and non-judgmental. So I really appreciate all that, because that's what we need. We need somebody. If you have a lot of questions and a lot of options, right? So you need somebody that helps you decide what is the best path for you. And again, I was able to use Sandy's experience, life experience, and professional experience to help me make a lot of decisions, and I'm very grateful for that. So again, that inner voice, only wiser, I think it's really, really important, and a lot of mentees would benefit from that.
Mm-hmm. And I think, you know what, I like that you put it that way, because I think a lot of the times we do have the answers within us. We just don't really know how to bring it out, right? We don't have the life experience or the work experience. So you just kind of need someone to ask you the right questions and give you a little bit of guidance in order to help you find those answers that you already really knew. Rod, do you think that maybe one day you'll take on the role of mentor for someone someday?
Yeah. So again, Sandy is a great leader. He has a lot of self-confidence. He's calm, mature. There are a lot of qualities there. And I do hope that I have these qualities or improve on these qualities myself, and I can pay forward and eventually be a good mentor for somebody in the future that would have some career questions for me. So yes, I would love to have this opportunity to pay forward.
Mm-hmm. And Sandy, would you recommend to other CPAs that they consider serving as mentors?
Oh, absolutely. It's an opportunity to enrich your life in a different format. It may not be somebody who you have a working relationship with, which is really great, because that gives a different space and a different attitude to the time you spend together. It's an opportunity of spending, we budget about 3 hours to 5 hours a month, depending upon what we were talking about. And yes, it can be difficult if you've got other family commitments. It was a real honor to work with Rod, because, he was working through some of the issues with his firm, where what was going to be happening, some uncertainty. He had some family issues that arose. More so, he ended up in a car accident, believe it or not, one day, which was unfortunate. But he was safe. But his beloved car of many years met its maker that day. And we share those life experiences. And it's a step back, maybe, but 3 steps forward, right? And as long as we're moving forward, we're growing.
Absolutely. One final question for each of you. What is one notable thing that you've learned about each other through your relationship as a mentor and a mentee?
Well, I think Sandy, again, he is a very calm person and with a lot of experience. And this is one thing that is an inspiration to me. Again, I think I am still anxious with my career. And then the self-confidence and the maturity, it is really, really important. So I think as a role model, I think it's one thing that I take out of it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you that, you've grown so much, Rod, through this process. But in reality, all I saw was myself 20 to 30 years ago, searching for what that next step would look like and making some decisions. And like I said, I had some great mentors in my career. I was happy to share it moving forward for you. And I know you'll be a great mentor sometime in the future to someone else.
Thank you.
Those are great answers. Thank you both for that. And thank you, Sandy and Rod, for taking the time to be guests on our podcast today. It's really been a pleasure to hear from each of you about your experiences participating in the CPA Alberta's mentorship program. And Sandy, of course, thanks for driving all the way in from Lethbridge to join us in the Calgary studio. Best of luck to both of you for whatever comes next in your careers.
Well, thank you, and thank you for the opportunity of participating today.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity as well.
And just a note for our listeners, if you're an Alberta CPA and you've been thinking about getting involved in CPA Alberta's mentorship program as either a mentor or a mentee, please note that registration for the 2026 program is now open. Contact CPA Alberta for more information. The Uncommon Sense podcast is presented by the CPA Education Foundation and funded by the Heshe CPA Knowledge Center. The Knowledge Center was created through a generous donation by the late Brian Heshe. Brian was a distinguished Albertan, business leader, CPA, educator, and community builder. His generosity and commitment to education underpinned his good works across Alberta throughout his lifetime. The opinions expressed on Uncommon Sense do not necessarily reflect the views of the CPA Education Foundation. We would like to acknowledge that CPA Education Foundation offices are situated on the traditional Treaty 6 and Treaty 7 territories and Métis Nation homeland. The Foundation acknowledges that we reside on traditional and ancestral territories of many Indigenous, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. Their histories and culture influence our community to this day. The Foundation is committed to helping build a province where Indigenous people and their voices and experiences are heard, valued, respected, and celebrated. Technical and recording services for this podcast provided by Wolf Willow Studios in Edmonton. If you enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends about us. If you have any comments about the podcast, write to us at cpaef@cpaalberta.ca. To learn more about the CPA Education Foundation and the Heshe CPA Knowledge Center, visit cpaalberta.ca/foundation. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search for the CPA Education Foundation.